Greetings! In today's video, we'll be making a pizza patty or a calzone. So the first thing that we have to do is start on our dough. And today I tried out a different dough making method, and it starts with blooming the yeast but with flour. So to some warm water I added sugar, and now I'm adding the yeast, stirring that in. After which I'm going to add some parts of my flour and stir that in and allow it to rest and proof. After mixing the flour as smooth as I possibly can, I'm going to allow this mixture to sit for about 10 minutes for the yeast to bloom. I remember being in like second or third form, and this pizza hut used to be near my school, and it would always be like a PPP or a pizza party because we don't have no money, but we want to buy pizza, we want to go Pizza Hut, so it would be the PPP or the pizza party, and that was very filling. So it just came to my mind, and I was like, okay, I'm going to just make this. After we've had our yeast bloomed with the little flour that we had, we're going to add the rest of our flour, and we're going to just incorporate this as we go. We're trying to form our dough now, and after which we're going to add a little salt or oil and continue adding flour until our dough becomes more stiff. It's still going to be a very soft dough, but you want it to come together better. So we're going to continue doing that until it has come together, and then we're going to knead it on our surface. As I previously mentioned, it is a very soft dough, so it's going to be sticky, but just continue adding sprinkles of flour until it's not sticky. So you don't have to knead this for like 15 to 20 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes. Just knead it until it no longer sticks to your hand, after which it's going to rest for 2 hours, and then we're going to punch down. It was fun. The dough is very soft, and after punching down and deflating all the air, I'm going to put it onto my surface once more, and I just squeezed the dough through my hands, and that was the size balls that I worked with. I'm going to allow them to rise again for about 30 minutes. I hate tomato sauce, I hate tomato paste, I hate marinara sauce, and in cooking you might find that weird, but I just don't like tomatoes. But this was very much tolerable. I enjoyed it. The sauce was good. So to my little saucepan, I just added 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to allow that to melt. Then I'm going to add garlic and onions and allow that to become translucent before I add my tomato sauce. The brand sauce that I used was Hunt's, and it was just a plain tomato sauce because I knew that I was going to add my something to it. So I'm never buy the over roasted garlic one or whatever it name. I just bought plain tomato sauce and added what I wanted to it to make it more tolerable for me. After pouring all the contents of the can, you know that you have to go back and add water to your can, wash out your can, and then pour that in the pot as well, because we're not wasting anything. Nothing. Then we're just going to allow that to simmer and reduce for a while before we start adding things to it. So once it starts bubbling, that's when we're going to start adding, what do you call that, ingredients, spices, herbs, them something there. The first thing I added was some dried parsley. You can add dried thyme or any other dry something, or you can use fresh one, but I opted to use dried parsley, and I mixed that around, allow that to bubble a little bit more before I add something else. Then I'm going to add a sprinkling of salt. I want to say sprinkle, I mean actual sprinkle. I added cayenne because I like to have heat in my things. Mix that again. And if you know anything about tomato paste or tomato sauce, it's very much acidic. So once everything starts to boil down, I'm going to add a tablespoon of sugar just to even that out. If you taste it and you find that it's still acidic or it's too acidic for you or your liking, you can add a bit more sugar to mellow that out. Then you're just gonna make it bubble and fight it off for another 2 minutes. Now we're going to work on the filling of our pizza patty, and I am using the bad dog sausage because I don't like pepperoni. You can pretty much use whatever filling that you'd like, and I'm just cutting everything so that I can move faster when I am assembling my pizza patty. This is what my dough balls look like after they're pretty much stuck together, which was a whole hot mess, but we move. So to my surface, I added some cornmeal so that the dough would move freely on the surface instead of sticking. And I am just working that into a circle. We want to make it not too big, and we want the ends to be thinner because remember that it's going to be folded over like a patty. We are going to assemble this just like we would a patty. So first we're going with sauce, then cheese. Add as much or as little as you'd like. After which we're going to start adding our bad dog sausages or whichever meat or toppings, fillings that you decided on using. Then I'm adding my sweet peppers, my onions, and my pineapples. After which I'm going to add another layer of cheese before I ever so gently fold the other half over. No, I don't have a good clip of the crimping or sealing process, but I'm going to try to explain it as best as I can. So with my left index finger, I'm going to push down, and with my right hand, I am folding over. So the left index is before and then it seals properly, and then the right hand folds over again. I don't know how helpful this is going to be, but this is as good as I can get it. So each time I fold over with my right hand, I'm going to use my left index to just seal it and move on. Just the same process again. I am working my dough and I'm trying to ensure that the ends are the thinnest areas because they are going to be tucked. So as best as I can, I'm working on my ends. Push them out. Always have to keep in the back of your mind that it's not a flat pizza. It's going to be folded over, so you want to make your dough as broad as you possibly can, but not too thin because again it's going to be folded over, so you don't want it to tear. So we're going down with the sauce first. We're going to then add our cheese, then our meat. After the meat, we're going to add our other toppings, our onions or bell peppers or mushrooms or whatever you decide on putting on yours. And then I'm going to add my cheese, my pineapples, and move on. Also, there will be no pineapple on pizza slander in the comments. Please refrain from doing so because it's not as bad as people make it out to seem. Like pineapple there's nothing wrong with pineapple on pizza. Is it a must? No. Does it add something? Yes. Moving on. Just pay attention to my hands in order to close your pizza patty. If you cannot or it not working for you, you can always just use a fork to seal it. But I find that this is cuter and it seals better in my opinion. By the way, do you guys remember pizza patty or is just me? Because pizza patties were booming back in the day. Y'all remember that? After I've made and closed all my pizza patties or calzones, I'm going to brush them in egg wash and allow them to bake until they are done. Remember what time that did bake, I'll put it in the description. And I also sprinkled a little Parmesan cheese onto them. This is after they're finished baking. I brushed them in some parsley butter, which is just melted butter with some parsley in there, and just brush them over the top, and that was basically it. You can see that a little of the marinara sauce oozed out, but it never burst or anything. It was just oozing out through whatever small pockets that were left, and these are so pretty. I made a giant one for thumbnail and cross-section purposes, and this is how that went. I'm cutting it. You can see that the crust is pretty soft, but it's not just soft, like it's flaky as well. And I hope you enjoy my cross-section. And this brings us to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed making, eating, and editing this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.